Welcome. Tonight we're stepping into a different kind of Los Angeles, not the sunny Hollywood dream factory you usually picture.
No, this is 1940s LA. Think flickering neon, long shadows, maybe a lonely saxophone somewhere.
Exactly. We're diving deep into the heart of one of its most chilling and, frankly, enduring mysteries.
The Black Dahlia.
The Black Dahlia, Elizabeth Short, a name that still haunts the city. So our goal here for you, the listener, isn't just to retell the story you might already know. We want to unpack the actual sources.
Right. The police files, the newspaper accounts from the time, later analyses.
Yeah, to get real insights into Elizabeth Short herself, the incredible brutality of the crime, why the investigation went so wrong, and why we're still talking about it.
It's the stark contrast, isn't it? A city selling dreams, glamour.
And then this absolute nightmare unfolds.
And a nightmare that nearly 80 years later is still completely unsolved.
Yeah.
It's a puzzle that just defied everything.
Let's start with Elizabeth Short herself, the woman behind the legend. She was young, only 22.
Came from Boston. Very striking, apparently. Jet black hair, pale skin. People describe it as almost porcelain-like.
And she came to L.A. chasing that Hollywood dream, right? The classic story.
Well, yes and no. The sources are pretty clear. She wasn't really a starlet on the rise, more of a wanderer.
Okay. What do you mean by wanderer?
I mean, her life was pretty precarious. She bounced between cheap boarding houses, worked odd jobs, waitress, stuff like that. She relied a lot on men she met, guys who maybe hinted at connections, promised introductions, always hoping for that break.
So not exactly living the high life.
Not at all. The sources paint a picture of someone kind of drifting, maybe a little lost, definitely vulnerable, holding on to that Hollywood illusion, but barely.
And the name Black Dahlia, where did that actually come from?
It seems to have started with the press, actually. Apparently, she liked wearing black clothes.
Okay.
And sometimes wore dahlia flowers in her hair. Just simple details.
But the newspapers.
Oh, the LA press back then was cutthroat. They seized on it. Black Dahlia. It sounded mysterious, exotic.
It gave them an angle.
Exactly. It instantly turned her from this struggling young woman into a sort of film noir character. They draped her in mystery, even in death. It set the stage for the whole media circus.
And the last time anyone reliably saw her?
It was January 9th, 1947, leaving the Biltmore Hotel, downtown L.A.
What was she like then?
Witnesses said she was wearing a black suit, looked nervous, kept glancing over her shoulder like she felt watched or followed.
Chilling. And then silence.
For 6 days. Until January 15th.
That's when she was found. In Limerick Park, right? A vacant lot on Norton Avenue.
Yeah, a working class area. And discovered by a woman out walking with her baby in a stroller.
God, imagine. That detail just slams the horror right into everyday life, doesn't it?
It really does. And the crime scene itself.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where the sources get incredibly specific and, frankly, disturbing. Its nature is key to the whole enduring mystery.
Let's get into it. What did they find?
Well, first, her body was cut in half, severed at the waist.
Should have fixed that.
Not just cut. The sources emphasize surgical precision. Cleanly through the spine, tissue.
Mm-hmm.
It suggested whoever did it had real anatomical knowledge.
Like a doctor.
Or a surgeon, maybe even a skilled butcher. Someone who knew exactly what they were doing. Probably used specialized tools, not just a simple knife.
And that wasn't all, was it? The mutilation?
No, it was far more than just a bisection. Her blood had been completely drained beforehand.
Drained? Why?
It suggests she was killed somewhere else, then meticulously prepared, clean, made her skin look ghostly white, adds to the shock value, the theatricality.
Look at the face, the Glasgow smile.
Right. Her mouth was slashed ear to ear. It's a horrific signature move designed to maximize the grotesque look, like a permanent leering grin.
Yeah.
Mockery, almost.
It feels calculated, not frenzy.
Absolutely. And the posing. Her body parts were arranged, legs spread, arms bent, like some kind of twisted mannequin or dark art installation. The intestines were even tucked neatly under her torso.
Dehumanized. Put on display.
Exactly. This wasn't about hiding the body. It was about showcasing it. The coroner's report later found bruises, cuts, indicating she'd likely been tortured for days before she died.
Days.
Yeah.
So sustained, controlled cruelty.
Precisely. But here's the critical forensic point, the one that just baffled the police from the start.
What's that?
The scene itself, the vacant lot, was almost clean. No significant blood.
Meaning?
Meaning the murder, the draining, the severing, the washing, all of it happened somewhere else. The killer cleaned up meticulously at location A, then transported her body to location B, the lot, purely for the reveal.
A secondary crime scene, just for display.
Yeah. turning the lot into a stage. That level of planning, of control, it's chilling.
So the LAPD walks into this grotesque theater piece. What happens next? Total chaos.
Pretty much. The investigation immediately spun out of control, largely thanks to the press.
The papers went wild with it.
Absolute wild. It was peak yellow journalism.
Yeah.
Every gruesome detail sensationalized. Her face was everywhere. It became this national obsession, this grim spectacle.
And the police were just buried.
Completely overloaded. First hundreds, then thousands of tips poured in. Most of them useless, just noise.
And the confessions. I heard there were dozens.
Over 60 people confessed to the murder.
60. Seriously.
Yeah. All false, of course. People desperate for attention, maybe. It tells you something about the atmosphere at the time.
So how do you even investigate with that level of interference?
It was nearly impossible. They had over 500 actual suspects to check out, doctors, drifters, you name it. But they were drowning in bad leads and hampered by clues that just didn't add up.
Like the surgical precision pointing to a doctor?
Right. That was a strong indicator, medical knowledge. A surgeon, maybe even a medical student gone wrong.
But the physical evidence?
Frustratingly thin. They found a bloody mattress nearby, but couldn't link it definitively. Her suitcase turned up at a bus station filled with belongings. But did that mean the killer fled? Or was it planted to mislead? Again, it went nowhere. Dead ends.
And then the killer, or someone claiming to be, started communicating.
Yes. That really ramped up the psychological terror. Letters started arriving at newspapers.
Claiming responsibility.
Some did. Others just seemed to taunt the police. One package was particularly chilling. It contained her birth certificate, social security card.
Things only the killer would have.
Exactly. And her address book. It felt less like a confession, more like the killer was controlling the narrative, showing contempt, playing a game.
Wasn't there one specific letter made from cutout words?
That's the famous one. Used letters cut from magazines, pasted together. It said something like, Black Dahlia avenged.
Avenged? What does that even mean?
Nobody knows. It just added another layer of enigma. It showed a killer who wasn't just hiding, but actively participating, almost enjoying the spectacle they'd created. The police felt powerless, always steps behind this incredibly cunning mind.
So decades pass. No arrest, no closure.
And the story just grows. It's become this cultural wound, you know. It never really healed. It fuels books, movies. It's synonymous with L.A. noir now.
Which brings us to the big question, really. Why this case? Why does it still grip us so tightly after all this time? Is it just the sheer horror? The Hollywood link?
I think it's a perfect storm of all those things. Plus, the fact that it remains unsolved leaves this vacuum, right? And into that vacuum rush all these theories.
Okay, let's touch on the main ones mentioned in the sources.
Well, early on, there were ideas about mob connections. Or maybe a serial killer who operated in the area and then just vanished. These theories often point to the professionalism, the clean getaway.
Seemed too organized for a random act.
Exactly. But the theory that's really dominated in recent decades revolves around Dr. George Hodel.
Right. The physician. What's the connection there?
He was a prominent doctor, moved in elite circles, but also had a very dark side, apparently. The main proponent of this theory is actually his own son, Steve Hodel, a former LAPD detective.
His own son accused him. Wow.
Yeah. Steve Hodel claims he found evidence after his father's death, photos, writings, maybe even physical links, suggesting George Hodel was the killer.
And the medical knowledge fits.
It fits perfectly. Hodel was highly skilled. There are even suggestions the murder might have happened in his distinctive L.A. mansion, which also ties into
the cover-up idea.
Exactly. That maybe powerful people in L.A. knew or suspected something and helped bury the truth to avoid scandal. That's always been a persistent whisper in this case, that the investigation failed, not just because it was hard, but because someone wanted it to fail.
Mob ties, a rogue doctor, an elite cover-up. It's like every noir trope rolled into one real-life case.
And that's the synthesis, isn't it? Despite all the fame, all the investigation, all the theories, the actual truth is still out there, hidden, lost in the shadows of that city built on dreams and, well, sometimes deception.
It really boils down to that stark contrast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Elizabeth Short arrives with stars in her eyes.
And meets this incredibly horrific, meticulously planned end.
Yeah. The sheer uniqueness of the crime, the precision, the staging made it infamous instantly, and the failure to ever solve it just cemented its place in like dark cultural history. It turned her tragedy into this story that gets retold and resold.
It's a really chilling reminder, I think, that some mysteries might just be too dark, too complex to ever fully unravel. Maybe some evils are just too clever or too protected to ever be caught.
A sobering thought.
And maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. What does it say about us, about society, that we take a real person's brutal, unsolved murder and turn it into this endless spectacle? We focus so much on the macabre details, the mystery, while the killer, whoever they were, remains this phantom. Just something to consider.